Loading. Loading. Success.
I don't need to analyze. Every word that comes out is a lie. Make it look like it's so ice. You won't make it to the finish line. Now if you gotta know the truth was gonna let you go. You was fine, never mind, unpredictable. Fade eye off the ground, you ain't no one. You a star, blow it up like supernova. In the nighttime, hit my hotline. Sharing secrets, you wish really was part your life. Basic bullets, with no bullets. Does your wifey know you're begging for my notice?
Tragic event of the Regal's crash has set off an investigation of what conspired on board the ship. As your leaders of Saturn, we promise answers to you as soon as possible.
Saturn's leaders, Queen May and King Gamma, have made an appearance on a newscast show to give their opinions on the Regal's crash. Over the past few months, they've done several interviews regarding the subject of Regals and the ship that crashed into its main headquarters in Neon Shores. The two companies have nothing to do with the royals, of course. But hey, when you run an entire planet, you're required to answer for any and everything. For 5 months, I've been at a constant mental war with myself over the decision to move to Neon Shores. What am I thinking? Am I nuts? As far as my mother's opinion on the place, it's basically a wicked playground for trouble's mistress. From what I've researched on my own, unlike the city of Burlow Heights where you're surrounded by suits and skyscraper corporation buildings, Neon Shores is a vacation destination near a large beach that surrounds the entire town. It's the place where sinners go to live in unfiltered paradise. According to the map, it's also not too far from a vast and hot desert called the Torrid Desert. And in the middle looks to be a teeny tiny town called Torrid Town. To each their own on where they'd like to live, I guess. If I had to compare Neon Shores to a place, it's like planet Earth's Las Vegas on steroids. Most of the tall buildings in Neon Shores are hotels or casinos, mixed in with a few theme parks. The city is called Neon Shores because whenever the ocean water clashes or rushes onto the beach, it lights up a neon blue. It's crazy and nerve-wracking to think that I'll be leaving the only home I've ever known in a week on Friday. My parents would have disowned me for this decision, and it's been very hard trying not to care. They seem to hate anything fun and carefree. Why did I have to be born into a tired, strict, grumpy family in their golden years? It's always shocking for people to find out that my mom got pregnant at 56 years old. She was a long-lasting 5-leaf clover of a fertile woman. I was nothing but an inconvenient surprise as far as my parents were concerned. Here they are, a few years shy of retirement, when suddenly they learn my mom is 4 months pregnant. They never even wanted kids, so me being born at such a late time in their life nearly dissolved their marriage. From the day I was born, nothing I did was good enough. I was an obedient 4.0 student who had to mature a lot quicker than the kids my own age. To distract myself from feeling isolated in such a crowded world, I fell in love with swordsmanship. I even attended competitions for it and was top 5 for representing Burlow Heights. Getting my parents to attend any of my swordsmanship competitions was like pulling teeth. It always seemed like they wanted to avoid ever having to say one nice thing to me, and that included congratulating me on my accomplishments. God, just an ounce of praise from them would have done so much for me.
What?
Says a confused voice in response to my likely random outburst. I'm immediately brought out of my inner thoughts as my eyes land on my assigned ringer sitting across from me. I'm currently at work and in my office, and my mind once again decided to escape somewhere else while these ringers whined. Crap, did I just say something out loud? I don't even remember what we were talking about. Time to play it off. Let me rephrase what I just said. I'm asking if you ever needed someone's approval for anything. Maybe that's why you're fighting with yourself to do the right thing? The guy shrugs his shoulders.
Well, my brother is really good to his wife. He would do anything for her. Do you think how I view his relationship with his wife is causing this, maybe? Is me wanting to be like my brother making me regret not joining my girlfriend in FP world? Is that what this is, do you think? Tell me your thoughts. I don't know.
Oh, right. He isn't talking about anything special. It always takes a death experience for someone to finally realize they're a huge turd. FP World is a new and somewhat cheaper option for SOS chip carriers. Basically, whatever you imagine heaven would be is that. Instead, it's in a machine. Your SOS chip is installed in a man-made digital paradise until your SOS chip fries itself out. It's kind of poetic in a way, living your best life before you vanish to our natural last destination. This guy, aka ringer assignment in front of me, apparently lied to his fiance by telling her they would both be put in FP World when they die. After she abruptly passed away and got her SOS chip put in FP World as planned, he changed his death plan and decided to instead put his SOS chip in a ringer. He's been going on and on about feeling guilty and about how much he hates his new human girlfriend. Christ. Once you put your SOS chip in a ringer, there's no changing your mind and putting it in FP World. It's not by law, it's by the simple fact that it's not possible without completely damaging the delicate SOS chip. The SOS chip can't even be moved too much if it isn't installed in the human brain or in a ringer. This is why whatever city a human dies in is the city their ringer journey begins. It's also safer for the new ringers to be put in a Watchman facility in that same city as well. Hence the reason why a new Watchman facility was built in Neon Shores after the crash. After another 10 minutes of dropping some knowledge bombs on my ringer assignment, he finally exits my office. In another 5 minutes, I'll have a session with a woman who says she would rather be dead than to be made of machinery. She's one of those types who likes to say dark things and stare off into the distance. Some of the stuff she says makes her sound like a weirdly scripted anime character who just won't be quiet. When I die, they won't bury me and let me join the earth, no. Instead, they'll now just recycle me and turn me into a shiny canned object that holds bubbly drinks to give humans cavities. Man, it gets so hard not to roll my eyes at this girl. There are those who do genuinely need this place, but for the most part, a lot of these ringers drain counselors with problems that boil down to basic solutions. Everyone thinks too much. Even I'm very clearly guilty of it. But I don't pile all my issues onto people, I just deal with it myself. Only the spoiled are given help with their every single thought. Maybe some would say that I need a therapist myself, but I don't want the intrusive corrections of a stranger. My brain, or should I say my SOS chip, is my own outlandish diary that leaves no physical evidence behind. Suddenly, the loud sound of a non-existent baby crying sounds off inside of my apartment, causing me to jump in reaction. One moment I'm at Watchman with a ringer in front of me. The next moment I'm in my living room. I barely even remember my drive home. Wow, my mind has been distracting me from such a long day. This isn't the first time I've lost track of time or heard or seen things that aren't there. It even happened occasionally when I was human, but I wouldn't dare share that with my closed-minded parents. They probably would have checked me into a cycle ward and ordered the doctors to throw away the key. After doing much research on it as a kid, it was said that it comes with stress. I made it a point to think happy thoughts and find a way to relax when these things occur, and it usually works. Being a ringer, however, makes the relaxation situation a little more tricky. The sound of the phantom baby makes me jump again. I turn my head towards the dark, short hallway that leads to my unused bedroom. My eyes widen with shock as I stand up and begin walking towards that direction. As if like being in a funhouse for hearing, the sound redirects and instead comes from the TV. I stop in my tracks and look at the screen. It's a scene of a movie where a man is gently calming down his baby. I shake my head at myself, then command the TV to be turned down. I'm ready to get the heck out of this apartment and this city. A change of environment will be good for me. I died on the kitchen floor of this apartment, and a week before that, I got dumped by the only boyfriend I've ever had while in this apartment. My mother also passed away while napping in my room, which plays a role in why I'm barely in there and why this entire place feels like a tomb. It's safe to say that I've been living in a thick and congested negative space. I never bothered moving because finding a new place is expensive, even with a decent job. This Neon Shores opportunity is the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. This entire city is nothing but a night and day mental hustle with no breaks. You're either going crazy to stay at the top or you're working like crazy to get to the top. It was the hustle of Burlow Heights that killed me, broke my heart, and made my parents monsters and screwed with my head. I want out of this death trap as soon as possible. The Royals are on my radio once again giving their opinions on a new reveal from the Regal's crash. According to tech investigators, the Regal's computer system did a miscount of the ship's passengers, which can mean absolutely nothing or a whole lot of something. If anything, it puts Regal's electrics under more scrutiny. As I swipe, type, and save, I'm interrupted by a knock on the side of my slid-open door. I turn my head to find my co-worker Otis. Otis is a Saturn African ringer with a shiny bald head. He's always wearing slacks and a dress shirt and is known to all the counselors as the nosiest man on the planet. Part of me believes he only became a ringer counselor just to get paid to be in someone's business. He walks into my office and for a moment observes what I'm doing before he speaks.
You ready for that big move to wicked Neon Shores? You surprised everyone with that decision. Wow. I did not take you as a type who would want to live somewhere like that. You're far too much of a stiff,
he says with a hint of smart aleck in his tone. Well, taking into account that it comes with a hefty raise, it wasn't a hard decision. As far as you calling me a stiff, it's called being a professional. You should try it sometimes. I can sense Otis rolling his eyes without even looking away from my screen. I have a question for you as well, Otis. Are you ready for all the ringer assignments that I'm handing over to you? I say as a backhanded response. Otis begins to stutter out his shocked words.
Look, what? Wait, you guys did a... Hold up. Why are you handing assignments over to me? There's plenty of other counselors here. I already got my hands full with a new entire family of ringers who died during a camping trip. Not only are the parents a mess after losing their 12 and 10-year-old kids, but now they're regretting becoming ringers since children aren't allowed to be ringers. Also, the sister of the husband blames the mother of the wife for the kid's death, and oh my god, it's just a lot. I don't have any room or mental energy for new assignments right now.
I shrug my shoulders. Too bad. I've been given orders to split them up among this floor. If you have a problem with it, speak to Estilla. I do not give the orders in this place. Otis lets out a grunt before folding his arms and muttering out a few curse words.
You know, Tara, what are you even thinking moving down there? There isn't a single professional thing about that place that fits your taste. You're basically a tightly wound librarian signing up to live at an on-site circus running rampant with fake notorious Z's. My wife would kill me if I made the decision to move us down there.
Well, the remarkable thing about being single with no kids is that I don't have to care about what someone thinks. Also, please stop acting like you know my taste. I say to him as I continue swiping and typing.
You're still having trouble trying to find someone to hold you down, huh? You know, are you into women or men? I honestly get a lesbian vibe from you.
My dating life is none of your concern. Can you please excuse yourself so I can finish up? Practically ignoring me, Otis continues to speak, making me roll my eyes and shake my head.
By the way, you better be careful in Neon Shores. My cousin's best friend's girlfriend said there's a lot of ringers who have been going missing down there in the past few years.
I turn my head and give Otis a strange look. Every type of person goes missing everywhere, every day. That's just the sick way of life. Otis shrugs his shoulders.
Okay, don't say I didn't warn you. Neon Shores is known for a place that has so much going on that the heathens use the chaos to their advantage to snatch up ringers.
Otis turns around to finally make his exit out of my office. If that was his idea of disturbing me and making me regret going, then he's an idiot. He's likely just mad that he can't go, so he's trying to ruin my excitement. A lot of people surprisingly wanted to volunteer but have too many responsibilities to consider here. Besides me, 10 more counselors are making the big move as well. Some with families, but most of them have no obligations holding them back, just like me. Whatever, I'll be fine. I say to myself with an eye roll and a chuckle. But next thing I know, I have my reel screen pulled up and begin looking into his claims. Several photos of missing ringers attached to a Neon Shore story begin to pop up. The latest report of a ringer missing was posted just a few hours ago. Great. Otis was right.
If the notorious Eve, if
If the notorious Eve that we just saw is fake, then that is the best fake that I've ever seen, ever. Best fake ever.
The sound of a trending video starring a few drunken human women cut through the silence of my apartment. It's an hour before I leave for my final day at work at Burlow Heights Watchman Facility. So I decided to fill my time using my social feeds. The title of this loud video is what caught my attention. Real deal Notorious Eve sighting in Neon Shores. A few friends belonging to the drunk Saturn Caucasian brunette recording the video are out of frame, walking next to her giggling. I stop the video and read the comments. A bunch of men were commenting on how hot they were, while the women were calling her a complete idiot. But then I began to see some comments with confused questions. Now more interested in continuing to watch the video, I scroll back up and push play again. All the girls seem to have realized that one of their friends stopped walking. You can only see them turning their heads. The sound on the video stops and the girl recording suddenly begins running and almost sprinting. The video makes a screeching static noise and the video begins to lag before finally stopping. What in the world was that about? I shrug the video off and finally leave for my last day at work. My door slides open and I begin to step out into the hallway but notice something on the ground near my door. It looks to be a thick single sheet of oddly textured paper. I've heard of people doing weird things like leaving poison on paper and waiting for some unsuspecting person to pick it up. Works better on ringers because ringer skin is used to pass it on to humans who it would actually work on. I'm sure this isn't what this is, but you never know. I bend over and pick it up by the edge with the tips of my fingers, then turn it over. On the other side, it looks to be a beautiful, realistic sketch of a beautiful woman in a stunning outfit. Wow, this is good. Someone must have dropped this by accident. Not knowing what to do with it, I begin walking down the hallway, still holding it at its very edge with my fingertips. I place it on the hallway corner table as I pass it by. Whoever it belongs to will see it whenever they leave or come home. Now, off to my last day at work. After hours of ringer assignments and a couple of visits from coworkers to bid me farewell, I'm now finally sitting across from my very last Burlow Heights Watchman Facility ringer assignment. Mr. Miles Crusade. As usual, he's trying to convince me to switch real contacts with him, which is highly inappropriate. Saturn Egyptian and African, Miles is a playboy ringer who died after getting murdered by one of his scarred women. The lady stabbed him over 22 times while he was asleep in bed naked with another woman. Even after that traumatizing incident, it never seemed to change his flirtatious ways. I won't lie and say that he isn't a drop-dead gorgeous ringer, no pun intended, but he's clearly a man who thinks with the wrong head. Standing at 6'2" with a lean but muscular frame, he has a beautiful honey almond complexion that gives him a natural glow. He usually has his long curly golden hair tied back while the rest of it lays past his shoulder. Since he's a factory worker from South Burlow Heights, he isn't much of a flashy dresser, but it works for him. He sticks to his jeans, V-neck t-shirts, and boots with the glowing white straps. However, he does wear an expensive-looking bracelet and a matching necklace. They both meant something special to him since he never seems to take them off. He also, oddly enough, never wants to discuss them, which seems to be its own tell. Right now, his arms are stretched out behind him over the back couch cushions and his legs sit lazily wide open. He always made it clear that he was more than comfortable wherever he was. His light hazel eyes are trained on me with his same handsome, seductive smirk as he speaks.
Come on, counselor. You and I both know I'm fine in the head. Since this is our last session, you should finally accept my real swap request. After I graduate in a month, I have every intention on taking a trip to Neon Shores, and when I do get down there, you're the first pretty face that I want to see.
With a purple flash of his ringer pupils, my reel chimes in my ear and a screen pops up in my right eye to alert me of his real swap request. I turn my wrist over and my small screen pops up giving the option to left swipe or right swipe. After a quick left swipe, I decline his request for the 100th time so he can see it. Miles, how many times do I need to tell you to stop requesting my real information? I'm your counselor. It's very tacky.
But by the end of the day, you won't be my counselor anymore. It will just be a ringer man staying connected to a pretty ringer woman. You know, it's crazy how much these ringer bodies function like our human bodies. I was able to give someone and myself the best night ever a few days ago. You don't want to miss out on the gift that keeps on giving, do you? We're adults here with new bodies that don't get tired, so let's indulge, let's live. Let's just get into the shit, you know? Because I mean, watching you these past few months, I can tell you're someone who takes life too seriously.
I fold my arms and sit back with a serious look on my face. Miles, you know it's against the rules to be sexually active while you're in here. You can fornicate with whoever you want once you graduate, but while living on Watchman property, you need to keep your hands and your thing to yourself. I'm going to have to put this down in your file. Watchman doesn't take this kind of thing lightly, you know this. What is the name of the woman you had relations with?
Alright, what makes you assume I'm talking about sex, huh?
Do not insult my intelligence. I can read between those very obvious lines. So who was it? Miles shakes his head.
I don't have any information to offer you.
I stare at him for another moment before speaking. Level with me here, Miles. Why do this? Why do any of this? Why even make such a blunt pass at me if you know it will put more bad marks on your file? Why even insinuate that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing? He shrugs his shoulders, then his smirk returns.
I want to get to know you a little better.
How is being on the brink of sexually harassing me getting to know me better? Miles lets out a chuckle laced with surprise at my comment.
Sexual harassment? Wow. You chose to become a ringer, which means you clearly know how to rebel against nature's rules. Yet you still follow life's man-made rules. You're quite the mystery that I love trying to decode. You like to hear about me, so I like to watch and learn about you too. I just want an up-close and personal lesson. None of this professional BS you feed me.
I am not feeding you BS, Miles. I am here to help you. Just like I am here to help everyone.
Yeah, whatever. Now to circle back around to the subject at hand. What's my sexual harassment punishment, counselor? Just lay it out for me.
He says the last sentence in a simmering, teasing manner. I awkwardly shift in my seat, fighting against the spell he's trying to cast with his words and his tone. That's very cute, Miles, I say to him sarcastically.
I'm a reborn man. I'm far from cute, counselor.
Okay, well, to answer your question, now that it's documented that you broke the rule, this will give you enough counts to add up to your second strike. Your new counselor will be much less lenient than me, so I promise you, you will quickly add up to a third strike if you don't knock it off with all these rebellious actions of yours. You and I both know that if you have 3 strikes, you can very much possibly get destroyed. Just because you're getting ready to graduate in a month doesn't make you safe. Don't play with fire on your way out the door thinking you won't get burned. Watchman will have no problem lighting that match. Miles has a look of annoyance as he listens to my words. Also, since you aren't going to share who you participated with while doing these sexual acts, then there will be an investigation. Surveillance videos will be pulled and whoever you've been hanging out with will be brought in for questioning. Let's just hope that whoever you've had relations with isn't close to a finalized third strike.
Still assuming, huh? I swear you all treat this place like a damn prison. And by the way, the word you're looking for isn't relations. It's sex, and it's normal. Aren't we supposed to be acting normal in here? Why are we acting like sex is just a sin we shouldn't be doing? Whatever.
I shake my head at his comment as I continue typing my report. This place is to help ringers become accustomed to their new life. Rules have to be in place to keep ringers' progress on track.
Give me a break. You guys don't understand that not every new ringer needs a place like this. There are some who can take to the change and some who just can't hang without some help. I'm not one of the ringers who needs the help. I like my changes. I'm content. I've adapted. So release me to the world. Damn.
If only he knew how much I agree with him. But I don't get paid to reinforce these kinds of mindsets. My job is to sit here, listen, give advice, report on rule breaking, report on suspicious moods, and report on suspicious actions. While assigned to his previous ringer counselor who retired, Miles reportedly broke enough rules for his first strike. The very first rules that he broke had more to do with him just being rude. He apparently used to have a bad attitude problem. All he's wanted to do was leave and get back to his life since he's been activated. If I could agree with him loud and clear right now, I would. Instead, it's time to give some marshmallow counselor advice. Here we go. Miles, I get it. You don't want to be here. Just hang on until your graduation date. You're almost there. Although, if you continue carrying on with this confident rule-breaking streak of yours, you won't be going anywhere. As for the women you seem to like getting involved with here, be more cautious because you are causing problems for them too. You don't know their records, and for all you know, you think you're just fooling around, whereas these women are on their serious last marks for their final strikes. You seem to have trouble taking responsibility for the problems you have a hand in causing for others. It's not a ringer problem. It's a personality flaw you clearly have always had. If you continue with this way, your life will be taken for the second time by another angry person. Except this time, there will be no coming back, there will be no third chance, you'll be gone permanently. For a long moment, Miles silently sits across from me before looking away. He seemed to be soaking up the words that just hit him, but then shakes his head and lets out a partial bitter chuckle.
I don't take responsibility. That's a joke.
What does he mean by that? Before I could question his comment, he interrupts me with his words, wearing a slightly more serious expression on his face.
We're all adults. Every woman I involve myself with knows her own story and knows where I stand with them. I don't play games. I lay it all out and they accept my conditions. If a woman wants to get too attached or gets jealous, that's her own fault. I can't control how they act. I can only control how I act. I'm okay with myself because I'm honest and I'm a gentleman. I like to help women enjoy their life a little more in all meanings of the word.
Does this guy have a side hustle as a gigolo or something? What am I missing here?
Some women get angry that they can't keep me all to themselves after experiencing a glimpse of life with me and how happy I can make someone, which is what led up to my death. Maybe a part of you is scared to find out just how joyful someone can make you, so you keep up this professional exterior of yours. Do you dig in this raw and deep with all your rigor assignments, counselor? Or do you just like me a little bit more than the rest? Huh?
Miles turns his head to finally look me in my eyes. His smirk slowly returns, followed by a wink. He's the only ringer assignment I have that calls me counselor instead of my actual name. I never did get around to asking him why, but that's not important. Miles, my job is to literally care. It's what I get paid to do. As long as you have this kind of mentality, you will reap the awards you crave. However, you will also have to suffer the consequences that tag along with it. You've lived through it firsthand. Miles shrugs.
What can I say? I'm a man who loves to gamble. It's who I was before and it damn sure ain't changing now. If I really want something, I make sure I get it. Fuck being scared of the sacrifices made that comes with it.
I shake my head and get ready to respond, but before I can, the phone on my desk rings. For legal reasons, our reels can't be used for work purposes unless we're getting contacted while out of office. Sorry, Miles, let me answer this call. Miles nods his head as I tap at the square, flat phone built into my desk, then bring it to my ear. Cassidy Monty speaking.
Hey, Cassidy. If I'm looking at your schedule correctly, you're with a Miles Crusade right now, correct?
Says the receptionist at the front desk. Yes, that's correct.
His father, Derek Crusade, is here and he's wondering if he could pop on in.
I look over at Miles, who is looking at me as if entertained by whatever he's observing. I smile at the idea and nod my head as if the receptionist could see me. Yeah, we're almost done for the day anyway, so I don't mind. Why not?
Great. I'll send him right up.
I end the call by setting the phone down before giving Miles my attention. This will be Miles' first time seeing his dad since he became a ringer, so I know he'll be excited. Anytime he spoke about his father, he always had kind things to say
You
about
have a
him.
very sexy phone voice, smooth as silk. It's like jazz music coming out of your mouth. I could sit on my Rio and listen to you talk all day.
You just never seem to turn it off, do you, Miles? Miles smiles at me, showing off his dimpled cheek. It was as if he wanted to take in this glimpse of my hardened walls crumbling down for a moment before responding.
For what? You think I'm feeding you lines, counselor? You think none of this is from my heart?
What do you call what you're doing, Mr. Crusade? Miles has a playful, taken aback expression on his face after I call him by his last name.
Oh, whoa, okay, listen. My dad is Mr. Crusade. Let's stick to Miles, alright?
My office doorbell then rings, and I smile wider at Miles. Speaking of your father... After finally wrapping up my last counseling session with Miles, his father shook my hand and even threw in a compliment with a wink. I certainly saw where his son gets his ladies' man ways from. It was nice to see a little into Miles' personal life past his flirty and dismissive exterior. That session was a good ending to my time here in Burlow Heights. I rise from my desk and stand in the middle of my office, taking it in for the very last time.
Having one last look at your old digs before leaving, huh?
My silence is then interrupted by the sound of Otis's voice. Well, I was having a moment until you just barged in here without permission.
Actually, this is about to be my office. I always liked your setup more than mine, so I requested to have it.
I throw my hands up nonchalantly. Well, it's all yours. I begin to turn and walk off, but Otis stops me.
Did you seriously have to give me Miles Crusade? That dude is a pain in the ass. His file is filled with write-ups.
You'll be fine, Otis. I gave him to you because he only has a month left. If you didn't notice, I gave you most of my assignments who are almost finished because I'm a nice person. Otis smiled.
Really? Thanks, Cassidy. You will be very missed around here. I'm sure Miles will be missing you too. It's no secret the guy is always trying to flirt with you every time he sees you.
I wave away his comment as I turn to walk out of the office. Bye, Otis. It's been interesting.
See you, Cassidy, and stay safe out there in Neon Shores. Get an autograph from Notorious E
As
for
I
me.
walk down the hallway, it feels like I'm walking towards the next part of my life. With each step I take, it's just a build-up of more excitement for what's to come next in my life, and I am more than ready. It feels like slow motion as I move my body to the sound of the music thumping in my chest. The lights around me flash and the sea of dancing people blend into the rhythm of the atmosphere. It's like everything but the music is muted as my eyes are closed and I get lost in my own world. It's the weekend, and me and a few co-workers decided to hit up yet another popular club in Neon Shores Party District. As I allow myself to become accustomed to this new beautiful city full of luminous lights and mysteries beneath its brightness, I have to remind myself every day that no matter how great of a time I'm having, this place, this city of Neon Shores, can be a dangerous place to live for a ringer.
You chose not to listen to me. You chose to disobey me. And now you will feel the weight of those consequences break your shoulders. Even if I have to add extra weight to you myself, I will break you because you will